Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate and the Steel Syndicate podcast. G'day, Britsburgh on. What's going on, mate?
Hey, Mark, how you doing, bro? Yeah, it's all good, man. It's late at night here. I've just finished. I did a 10-hour shift today, and I'm good to go and talk Pittsburgh Steelers, brother.
Okay, so what I'm going to say right now, I'm going to have a big, what's not a segue, but like maybe a surprise. There could be a guest coming on. Well, there's a guest coming on,
Yeah,
and it might be Debo Harrison.
yeah.
Might be. So
Could
stick
be.
around.
Could be
It could be.
a celebrity from LA.
Yeah, I think doesn't Debo Harrison live down that way?
I don't know. I've never been
No,
there.
it's Duck Hodges. It's Duck Hodges in the Rams game.
Oh, I
Right?
love Doug Hodges. Bring back
Duck
Doug
Hodges.
Hodges. Bring back Doug Hodges.
Detroit Lions Syndicate's already throwing shade, man. He says you look beat.
Yeah,
It's because you've
man,
been
just stop
working
it.
15 hours a day.
I know. I've been awake since I don't know what time I got this morning. About 10 to 7 this morning.
No, but we do have a special guest coming on, and also this guest, I think. Well, yeah, I will tell you when
Mark,
he or she gets on.
is Jay
What?
right? Is Jay Devil right in the live chat?
What about the Bottle-O or about Baker?
Baker. Is it Baker?
No, sorry, we're all over the shop because we had before, while we were waiting, we had, where were you? Jay Devil said, long line at the Bottle-O, Mark. No, not the Bottle-O. Yeah, it's only like 11 a.m. So that's way too early. But g'day, guys. We got Jennifer in the house too. George, Tesson, Balls equals money, 100%. Claude's in the house too. Our mate, our other syndicate as well. Anyone else that I miss? Who else did I miss? Reginald Rivers too. Yeah. So, yeah, and that's what he means. So he said you look a bit up because you've been doing the hard yards, I guess, in the real life, right? You know, but we're not talking about real life. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I did title this episode, on like there's no time for losers, right? I started singing that Queen song. Obviously I can't play the song, but I'm telling you, man, this is the point now. Look, this game to me is so important. The Steelers versus Ravens, and we've won 4 in a row. Yet again, when they're not versing Lamar Jackson. You know, Lamar Jackson, I think, only has 1 start against us. I'm pretty sure. I think
He missed a lot of games recently. I know Tyler Huntley played.
Yeah.
Didn't Tyler Huntley play in the 16-13 win over them at the MT last year?
He played last year. And so when I say 1 start, I mean Lamar Jackson, I think, has 1 or 2 starts. I think two losses or something like that. But he's only won once. He's won once against the Steelers. And we never seem to play Lamar Jackson. No. And I want to ask you that question. Why do you think, and I have my answer like 100%, but why do you think we never play Lamar Jackson?
Scared of the pass rush, man. We knows we own him. He's never done anything. The thing is, he's never actually done anything against the Steelers because I think I can't remember where I read this week, but the Steelers have pretty much got Jackson figured out, and you know that's just the way it is. We know what Jackson does. We know to figure out, and the fact we got Brian Flores as well, who like last year when he was at the Dolphins had Lamar Jackson so confused. I don't think even Lamar knew who he was, where he was, what time of day it was, or anything.
Well, the thing I was trying to get is that Lamar Jackson is always hurt. Like, no matter what we play him, he's always hurt or he's sick. So, you know, as much as and I think actually I've been running myself around the YouTube land of like Ravens content. A lot of Ravens guys are calling for John Harbaugh's head. A lot of Ravens fans are calling for Lamar Jackson as their starter. So I'm like, it's not just us. It's not just us, the Steelers fans. We get Mike Tomlin problems or we get the tanking issues. Like, they're winning the division and they're feeling like they haven't got a good offense because they just won the game, 10-9. But Lamar Jackson, if he's out, does that give the Steelers a better chance to win, or would you rather verse Lamar Jackson than Huntley?
I'd rather play Lamar Jackson because the guy can't throw, not accurately anyway. I think Huntley's a better passer of the ball, a better natural passer than Jackson. Yeah, Jackson's probably a better runner, but that doesn't really worry me because we've got that figured out. What Huntley's a better passer of the ball than Jackson is by far. I'd rather play Lamar Jackson. Minka Fitzpatrick owns Lamar Jackson. How many times has he picked him off in the last few games? How many times have we ever come away from a Steelers-Ravens game and gone, wow, Lamar Jackson was good, didn't he, when he has played? I mean, and if you look at the record, these games are always so close, aren't they? I mean, you look at the last few games, was 16-13 Steelers win, 2019 Steelers win, 19-14 Steelers win, 28-24 Steelers win. You've got to go back to 2019 for the last time the Ravens beat the Steelers, and that was at M&T. That was 28-10. The last time the Ravens won at Steelers was 26-23 in overtime in June 2019. That was 2019. Obviously, was the year that we had Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph.
Well, that's actually the video that I'm making tomorrow. I'm making a video about going back to since 2016. I've got a few stats that I want to go over, and maybe the rivalry between Steelers versus Ravens isn't as close as you think. Let's put it that way, right? I'm not going to give away my video, but that's what I'm talking about tomorrow. I'm looking into the games because the Steelers have won quite a few. Now we've won, I think, 4 in a row. And yeah, it's not as close as you think as it used to be in the 08s, the 10s. Like since that day, I went to Christmas Eve, Steelers versus Ravens. Antonio Brown over the end zone. It's not as close as we think, and that's got to do with Lamar. But I want to bring up 2 comments firstly here because we've got Jennifer throwing heat as well. It's fantastic, right? Pansy Ratbird runs away from physical football. And I'll tell you what, the Ravens fans are they're in a bit of trouble again because last year when he went down, I called it that they wouldn't win another game. Now I'm not going to say they're going to win another game again, but the Ravens fans are a bit shaky right now because they know that Lamar Jackson is their whole offense, right? And breaking news, Lamar Jackson will be going to Detroit next year. Take him, Grid. Take him.
Yeah, I'd hate to have him. I wouldn't. If I know it wouldn't happen because we've got Kenny, but I'd hate the Steelers to take Lamar. I really would. I don't get the fascination with Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's not a top 5. He's not a top 5 quarterback. He's not even the best quarterback in the AFC North. He's not in the same. If you look at the AFC, you've got Josh Allen, better quarterback than him. Patrick Mahomes, better quarterback than him. Joe Burrow, better quarterback than him. Grid's not happy, is he? You've annoyed him now.
I think we have our special guest in the waiting here. Makenzie, give us a thumbs up when you're ready to go, when you're good to go. But you know what? Like, do you think, Owen, do we want the Ravens to sign this guy for a mega million deal?
Yeah.
And I'll bring in Makenzie now.
Yes, because it screws them over. Hey, Makenzie.
Hey, you guys. Sorry about that. Traffic was crazy, you guys.
What's going on with your traffic, mate?
LA traffic. I've never had to drive from North Hollywood to downtown, I guess. At this certain time of the day, I don't know.
So it took you like, what, 40 minutes?
It took me close to 50 minutes.
Oh, wow. How many miles is that? How many miles did you have to go? Miles.
Only like 12 miles.
Wow.
That's like, I think, like 20 kilometers for 50 minutes. That's crazy.
It was actually insane. I was getting really frustrated.
That's all right. You're here now.
I'm just glad to be here now.
And breaking news. So Makenzie is joining the team, guys. Makenzie, big Steel fan, is joining the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. Now we'll be doing podcasts. I think, joining us once a week, and then see what we can do maybe into the future after the new year. We'll get you all set up and ready to go for video content. Like, I guess you could be maybe you're an undrafted rookie coming out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? We got to get you ready. Are you the new Duck Hodges?
That's a bit of an insult, man.
Yeah.
He was good. He was good, man. I didn't mind Duck Hodges.
He was good when he was doing things for us, for sure. Like, he was totally. Yeah.
Well, I said that because he's a Ram. Is he a Ram now or is he gone? I can't remember if he's
he's gone. He's retired.
He's retired. He's done. Alrighty. So Mackenzie's joined the team. And we've just been talking about Lamar Jackson. What are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson being out? Is that a plus or a negative for this team?
Oh, it's a total plus. I think, like, from what we were saying, it's always good when we can take advantage of another team's weakness. Now, if that weakness is meaning that Lamar Jackson isn't going to be playing, then hey, we'll take it. I think that's a huge advantage for us. I think it means that we need to take this game even more seriously. Now, that doesn't mean we can sit back, relax, and do anything, because we've seen before that's not where we are as a team right now. So I believe that it's going to be interesting to see how we use that to our advantage.
Big time. What are your thoughts on? We haven't spoken to you for a pretty long time, right? What are your thoughts on the idea of this tanking crew? The Steelers are now 5-7. They have a chance for the playoff, right? If things go our way, we start to win out. What's your idea about the fans wanting us to lose? How does it sit with you?
No, I don't like that, because it's not in the Steeler mindset to say, hey, we're gonna just lose this week. Why don't we just lose this week? Like, no, we're all about getting those wins. I think it's incredible we've been able to win the past few games that we've won, because it just shows that we're not giving up. These players don't want to lose, because all the players are going to hear is hate from the fans. And that's the last thing that they want. It just annoys them at this point, honestly. So I think it's going to be, I'm hopeful that we can continue to be on the up and give our fans less of an excuse to be angry with us.
Well, they're gonna hate. A lot of those kind of fans are gonna hate the players anyway, regardless, right?
Right.
So, and we're actually in a position now. I don't know if you guys know, we're in a better position to make the playoffs than we are to go for a top number 1 pick or a top 5. It's harder because a lot of losing teams like the Rams, the Commanders are near there too. I think Washington, they're the Commanders too, but the Texans are down there. Who else is down there? The Jags are down there. The Raiders are down near the bottom, right? There are some teams down the bottom. I think the Cardinals are down there too. So we're in a position where it's easier to hope for the win than it is hope for the loss.
100%.
Like, why would you be cheering for TJ Watt to not get any sacks? Why would you cheer for Najee Harris to run nowhere? Why would you cheer for Kenny Pickett to throw interceptions? That stuff I don't understand.
Yeah, and you're not a true fan. That means you just want your team to lose at that point. Like, there's no point of even calling yourself a fan if you're just going to cheer for your team to lose. No, that's not a real fan.
Right? Me and Owen have been discussing this for like a few weeks, and we get a lot of slack on that part as well. But I just think it's if Tomlin can turn this around, he does deserve some respect. What are your thoughts on that, Owen? Do you think he deserves a bit of respect if he gets it to 500, maybe a playoff run?
Oh yeah, I mean, if he turns this season round from what it was, I mean, going into the bye, I think it was all doom and gloom, wasn't it? We're finishing, we're finishing 2-15. We're going for a top 5 draft pick, etc., etc. Yeah, he does deserve some credit for turning this round, and I genuinely think that this will be proof that it wasn't solely down to Ben that we've had all those winning seasons. And yeah, I've got to say, in terms of the tanking thing, my thoughts, I agree 100% with what Makenzie said. Tanking is ridiculous. As Todd Sulkowski says in the live chat, a top draft pick guarantees absolutely nothing. It's a crapshoot. Absolutely 100% correct. I mean, you look at the situation at the moment with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was a first overall pick in the draft, and it looks like he could be out of the NFL by the end of this season. You've got others, Josh Rosen, fail.
Sam Darnold, the same team, right?
Josh there's been loads. Mitch Trubisky arguably is a failure from the first round. Jarvis Jones, the Steelers drafted way back when, first round pick, absolute bust of a player. At the end of the day, you've got no guarantees that player is going to work out. So yeah, Coach Tomlin deserves huge credit, and I think tankers need to go and support the Browns if they want to go and find someone who want to.
Well, this is the thing. The thing I don't really get it about it, right? I think that we are a fan channel. Like, we're not analysts. I'm not an analyst. I'm just a guy in my room with some jerseys behind my door and some Steelers stuff, and like, I'm a fan. Like, I want to see them win. That's what we want to do. No matter where they were. If the Steelers had a chance to get a top 1 pick, I would still want to see them win. If they had to lose that game to get the top 1 pick, I would still want to see them win. Now, a lot of fans will say, well, I hope we would lose that game so we get a number one. But I would hope to see them win every single time. And now we're in a position, the Ravens are a good team, right? But we have their number, right? Any thoughts on overall on the Ravens game coming up, Makenzie? Like, what are you thinking is like what's maybe their biggest strength for the Ravens that we got to look out for?
Yeah, so I think I would say before Lamar Jackson got injured, I'd say like the offense hasn't been playing pretty well. I feel like the past few weeks. So I feel
they scored 10 points.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it was like 3 points at halftime, right? They scored one touchdown last week. So, and was it even Lamar? I don't even know. Was it even Lamar that scored? It wasn't.
I'm not even sure. Half their points come from, and I think he should be MVP of the Ravens forever. Justin Tucker. You know, he's escaped. He's escaped this team, the Ravens team, out of so many victories in the last few years. And even our mate, I'm going to throw some more shade on, as he said, I love LA. Tucker, and I saw Derek's response to this in his reaction video. 65-yarder. The man's a legend. Like he's an absolute killer. He helps the Ravens out so much, and their defense helps them out so much. To me, they can be a beatable team, but it's going to be a crazy game from our offense. But nothing really sparks me on their offense, right? No Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley. We beat him last year. There's nothing. I can't even remember, name the receivers. Is what is it? Who's the old veteran there, Owen?
Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson. That's the guy, right?
And Mark Andrews hasn't been doing much recently either. So it's not like we are, maybe he'll come out and have a great game against us. I don't know. But the offense is not something to be as worried about. I would say the defense is something that we're going to really have, like our offense, our O-line really has to be on their A game if we want to actually score points this weekend. So we'll see what happens.
Big time. What are your thoughts, Owen? Who's maybe the strength on the Ravens team that we have to look out for? Like if there were to be a strength, is it the overall defense? Is it, I think Lamar being out is just huge for us, really.
Well, I was catching a bit of DK and a bit of Locked On. Locked On crossover when I was out walking the dog after I got back from work, and they were talking about the Ravens team, and they were talking about how the defense is the sole strength of this team at this moment in time. They've got a pretty good defensive line with the likes of Calais Campbell, Travis Jones, the guy that both Matty and I were desperate to get for the Steelers in the draft this year. Is it Marlon Humphrey, one of the cornerbacks? He's pretty awesome, although Marcus Peters had a pretty poor year. Kyle Hamilton, the kid they got in the draft from Notre Dame, he's done well this year. So the defense is their biggest strength. The offense has been it's pretty non-existent at the moment. Their offense has struggled. They lost to the Jags recently. They were lucky to beat a very poor Broncos team. I mean, only put up 10 points against a very poor Broncos. I know the Broncos defense is good, but the Broncos suck this year, man.
Oh, that game was really hard to watch. Are the Ravens like one-dimensional team? You think like just running the football, and it all goes around Lamar because Lamar's got over 700 yards running, and I don't think Huntley is going to be that guy. He can run too. He's mobile, and I actually like Huntley's quarterback play, passing the football better than Lamar's. Right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I feel like this is a game that the Steelers can take over on the defense. Hopefully, what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they are a one-dimensional team. I mean, they've got, was it Duvernay and Deshaun Jackson are their only wide-out threats. Neither of those are particularly scary. And, with the fact that we've got Minka, we've got Terrell, we've got Kazee, safeties who can support, obviously, Levi and Cam Sutton. I mean, Cam Sutton has to have a big game this weekend, guarantee. But, yeah, they are a particularly one-dimensional team. And the Steelers' rush defense has been a lot better this year. Yeah, I know second half against the Falcons, it slacked off a little bit, but I think we're the sixth best rush defense in the NFL. So, should we make sure, obviously, that obviously we've got Ogunjobi should fit, TJ should be fit, Alex Highsmith. I don't have any. If we stop them running, I honestly don't know how they're going to, other than Justin Tucker, I don't know how they're going to get their points.
Well, who are their receivers? They got is it Duvernay or something like that?
Yeah.
And who's the other bloke? Jackson. I can't remember anyone else. They had
And-
Hollywood, but they let him go, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and as Makenzie said, Mark Andrews is obviously the tight end, but as we all know, Terrell Edmonds owns Mark Andrews.
Right. What are your thoughts, Makenzie? We haven't really talked to you, not even once this season, right? What are your thoughts on coming out of the bye? Like, we're 3-1. Are you pretty happy and proud with our Steelers and see the direction they're going?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that I'm happy in the sense that we're winning games now. We're finally starting to allow things to flow as they should. I guess bad things needed to happen for something good to happen. So whether it's a miscommunication on the offense, as long as they're willing to fix it, that's all that matters. And that's what I think we talked about, was that you have to have the ability to take your mistakes and learn from them. And I think that we've done a good job of doing so, especially on the offense. Plays are starting to finally come together. Like, we're finally starting to have the time of possession on offense is growing from one.
We're ranked 7th now. We're ranked 6th or 7th in the league.
Look at exactly.
It's grown. It's
So-
grown a lot.
I don't know what happened, but I am pleasantly surprised with how we're doing, and I'm excited to see how we do against the Ravens. I'm scared only because of the Ravens defense, and we're still not a perfectly put together offense quite yet. However, we're going in that direction, and I think that's all that matters.
Would this be a true test, Owen, for a lot of the Kenny haters out there and those kind of people and the tankers, right?
Yeah.
Will this be a true test to not maybe shut them up, but maybe to shut some of the NFL media up too?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if we go out and we win this game on Sunday, which we've got every chance to, because it's Acrisure Stadium, and also, like I said, the Ravens are not that scary, and yeah, it will slam, the door shut on a lot of on the tanking talk. And also at the end of the day, it will, I think, show the NFL media that we are for real. I mean, I just pulled up the Ravens depth chart here. Their first choice receivers are Devin Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson, who was with the Chiefs, who's looking at his stats. He's only caught 1 touchdown pass this year. Deshaun Jackson is the other wide receiver. Mark Andrews, tight end. Fullback Patrick Ricard. Running back is Gus Edwards, backed up by Kenyon Drake, the guy who the Raiders released. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins is out for the season. But then behind those leading receivers, Rashad Bateman, who was their draft pick, he's on IR. Tylan Wallace is on IR. And then they've got some guy called James Prosh the second, who I've never heard of.
Let me stop you there. Do they only have 4 receivers? Is their whole offense is built around like that big tight end package, isn't it? Pretty much.
100%.
Yeah,
they have no receivers.
They've got 4 tight ends.
That's
4
crazy.
tight ends, and they've got 4 fit receivers.
Wow.
I can attest to this because Mark Andrews is on my fantasy team, and the first half of the season, he was stacking in the touchdowns. Like, it was a thing. Like, I was relying on him to score at least 2 touchdowns every week. And I'm like, is this normal? Is this normal for a team to be giving their tight end this much action?
So they must be using, I haven't seen too many Ravens games this year, but they must be using like 3 tight ends set and then getting Lamar Jackson involved, running behind the tight end, stuff like that. Do you see Huntley doing that? The backup quarterback playing the same way as Lamar Jackson? Because Lamar Jackson is a bigger quarterback than Huntley. Huntley's a bit more skinnier, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to have to. I mean, I don't think there's any choice in the matter. They have. I mean, what they've got. They've got Deshaun Jackson, who is practically on his Zimmer frame now, isn't he? I mean, the guy's ancient. And then 2 wide receivers who don't really scare anyone. So yeah, they're gonna have to try and play in a very similar fashion and just run the ball with Edwards, Drake, and Tyler Huntley in a Lamar Jackson style, like a B-Tech Lamar Jackson, maybe. I don't know.
So I'll ask you this question, Makenzie, and it's more of a maybe a one-word answer. But if we shut down Mark Andrews, is the game over? Is that the biggest threat there? It might be, right?
Yeah, I would say because look, I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Ravens 2 weeks ago. Can we not forget that? Like, this is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, I honestly think that knowing everything that we know now, if we can shut down Mark Andrews, we can be good on off. Like if our O line can be good, we should be on par to win this game.
I hope so. All right, let's flip the switch a bit. I want to ask you, Makenzie, your thoughts on Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on his, I guess, development throughout, from the bye? You know what I'm saying? Like he's been getting a lot of people saying he can't throw deep, he's inaccurate. Where are the TDs? He's done this, done that, right? But what are your thoughts overall with his progression with the team?
I think he's still progressing. I think he's progressing as he should. Like I think he's taking all of the steps into being a better quarterback week in and week out. He's not going to be perfect. I'm going to say this. I don't know how many times I can say this in regards to nobody is perfect. I don't know what our fans are expecting. Like Tom Brady wasn't good for how many years until he blossomed into what he became. Like it's optimistic in my eyes that he is going to be a great quarterback for our future. That is, if he can continue to learn and grow. We've seen him be accurate. Not every quarterback is going to be accurate on every single throw. So I think people are looking for every little thing to come out and like pick him. Like
why would they do that? They wouldn't do that.
No, they would never. Oh. Really? Like it's just it's I think it's at this point it's the haters just not giving the time where it's due. Like you got to give the guy another season at least before you can even make any assumptions. That's right.
I was going to say, what would you give him? How many years would you give Kenny Pickett before you go, you know what, maybe he's not the guy for the offense? What would you give him, Makenzie?
3. Like at least 3, because you got to put in all these other factors. Like, are the coaches still going to be there? Is Canada going to be there? Is it going to get a new offensive coordinator? Like that alone is going to take how long to get a good mesh together? Like there are so many other factors that go into a quarterback's development when they enter the NFL. I mean, you saw what happened to Mitchell Trubisky. Like he got drafted with the Chicago Bears, and
now he's backing up.
That was a disaster. Exactly. So I don't know what else they could want, like our fans can want and ask from Kenny right now. I think he's doing the best he can.
You know what I like about Kenny? I like how he's really confident in his speech. Every single post-game interview, I like how he's really confident. Young rookie's 24, 25 years old. So he's not super young, like 21 and whatnot. He's got his head on his shoulders a bit, but I think he's really confident. I think he's growing every week. Owen, do you see some real progress with Kenny in a big game coming up? I think every week he's getting better.
He is making steps forward, continually making steps forward. And, I think, Mackenzie's right when she says, what did the fans expect? What did they expect? Big Ben 2.0, which was never going to happen, and I think some fans have got exceptionally short memories to thinking back to when Ben was in his rookie season. Ben was behind an outstanding offensive line. Ben had Jerome Bettis to give the ball to. He had Hines Ward, Martavis Bryant. He had, Plaxico, I think, was on the team at the time. He had an outstanding offense around him. But Kenny is making steps forward. He is getting better every week. And the fact that he has not turned the ball over once since the bye, which I think is actually a franchise record that dates back to before records began.
Yes, it is. 140. I looked up the other day. Actually, that was Jennifer's question the other day about Kenny. Jennifer brought up the question in the mailbag segment we did. And I think he's a franchise in Steeler history. He hasn't thrown a pick in, I think, 130 times, something like that. So he broke the record, right? He's the first rookie quarterback in a long time. Sean Manahan brings up some good points. Joe Burrow wasn't good either. No, he wasn't. He's good now, and it's hard to say. Mahomes wasn't good either, right? Brady didn't play his first year.
Tua, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts. Like, there's so many.
Hurts too. Hurts is going off this year. I've got him in my fantasy because I think he'd have a big year, and he really has, right? The Eagles are killing it. So it is a funny thing. We went from Big Ben last game, and we're meant to be retooling and rebuilding, and now we're in a position to where if you win a few games, things go our way. You could have a rookie quarterback going to the playoffs. I cannot wait to see the tankers' heads explode if that happens.
Same.
Seriously.
Same. I love showing them wrong. I love showing the haters that, like, we are who we say we are, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we won't give up until we put up a good fight. And like us putting up a good fight is going to determine like where, you know, I honestly am confident that if we continue to progress, we can make it to the playoffs. You know, we need to now focus on winning a playoff game because we made it to the playoffs. It's a matter of winning playoff games now.
They just got to keep going forward. I did a show the other day on my mate's In Hindsight, his YouTube channel, Nathan channel, right? I found out doing the ESPN playoff predictor, right? And I did my post about it too on my show too. But if the 9 games fall our way, 9 games over the next 9 games, with the Browns winning, we need the Bengals to lose a few and the Ravens lose a few. The Steelers could hold the AFC North by Christmas morning, right? That can happen. So the Ravens got to lose 3 times. The Bengals got to lose, I think, 3 times, and we got to win 3 times, basically, right? Basically, that's how it's got to happen. So I'm saying it can happen, right? But I got a question here or a comment here. It was a good one here from Brian Harrington. Kenny just needs to work on ball placement, his timing route. What are your thoughts on this, Owen? What are your thoughts about Kenny's development with his like quarterback skills?
Yeah, I agree with what Brian has to say. You know, you look at some of his throws, particularly when he throws the ball deep. I mean, there's no worries over his short passing game. His short passing game is spot on. His accuracy has never been doubted there. But there are times when he does overthrow or underthrow on those longer passes, and I think that is something he does have to work on for definite. You know, throwing people open as well, which is something that Ben used to do. But that will come with time. You know, all this will come with time. You know, give Mike Sullivan, the QB coach, you know, another year to work on this guy. Give Kenny another year in the NFL. And the other thing I think some people seem to forget is the fact that Kenny did not work with the ones at all.
Not at all.
You know, well, he did a little bit, but not like enough during training camp, did he? He had no real time with the ones during training camp, with the Steelers during the preseason with the ones. So, you know, with Deontay, with George Pickens, with Pat Freiermuth, you know, with these guys. So he hasn't developed that understanding. It takes time. And, you know, had he had all the reps that Mitch had through training camp, we may be seeing his development speeding up a little bit. And that's something he's working on, but that will come over time. Give him time.
And the thing is, even if we don't make the playoffs, it's still going to be good to see over the next 5 games, right? We have 5 games to go. And the minute that we get with no more Steel football, everyone's like pissed off and upset. So like, why? I don't understand why you want to see him tank now. Because the minute we don't see football, we miss it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's the point. Like it takes for ages. All right, Makenzie, what about this running game? What are your thoughts about Najee Harris and Jalen Warren and those kind of dudes running the football? Do they have a chance versus the Ravens? The Ravens are pretty good defense. They're pretty.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've seen Najee wake up since the bye week, I will say. So I'm optimistic that we will continue to develop a running game as what it is. We've seen Warren have some incredible plays for us. And I think that we've recently seen Najee do some pretty cool things for us as well. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful we'll be able to continue to be thriving on offense.
They've been running the ball pretty well. I think I saw a stat from Alex Kozora on his tweet or something like that. They've rushed, I think, the 4th best in the league or 5th best in the league with over 600 yards. So since the bye. So it seems like everything's since the bye. Is this something, Owen, where we, you and I said fire Canada a million times? Should we cool our jets a little bit and see what can happen over the next 5 games? And we can't take back what we said. I would never take back what I said because at the time that's what it was, right? I don't think you need to go, I apologize to Canada. I'm not apologizing to no one, but do you think he's going to stick around after the season if this continues?
I think I've gone on record before as saying this. You know, Canada's here to stay for another year, whether we like it or not. He will be here next season, I guarantee it. You know, because he's got 1 year left on his contract. The Steelers don't sack people with 1 year left on their contract. Also, I've also got my Dino Tomlin conspiracy theory that I aired to Noah Strackbine last week. So I think we'll still have Canada next year, but. Is this offense moving forward? Yes. Is this offense perfect? No. I mean, There's a lot of problems there still. Predictability is still there. The failure to make adjustments third quarter is still there. There is still things that need to be worked on. But yeah, give him these next 5 games and see where we are in 5 games time. And if we're 10-7, going into the end of the season, and the offense is regularly putting up 25, 30 points a game, then yeah, I think he's pretty much guaranteed his job for next season.
All right, so I just put our mate Rick, who's a Bengals fan. Rick, I put you on timeout because for the next 5 minutes. The next time I want to see you comment is when the Bengals win a Super Bowl, and that's never going to happen. So stop commenting, mate. Had to put in goodbye, Rick.
Well, the American Medical Association apparently are putting pictures of the Bengals up on choking hazards.
That's crazy. What are your thoughts, Makenzie, about this whole Matt Canada thing? Now, do you think has Kenny saved his job? Has the players saved his job?
100%. It kind of makes me feel awkward inside,
Right?
knowing,
Yeah.
Knowing that this man is getting credit for absolutely no reason. You heard Kenny talk the other day saying it's really great to see that coaches are open to our ideas as players. Keyword, our ideas as players. I think what Matt Canada is doing is allowing the players to be more free and call plays on their own, be creative within their own. And Matt Canada has absolutely nothing to do with it. That's what I think.
They've also been, I think, in the last media press conferences too, from Kenny and other guys like that. They've been mentioning more O'Sullivan. He's been mentioning more Mike Tomlin. Have you noted that too, Owen? That Kenny's been talking about Tomlin and O'Sullivan more than Matt Canada. I think. That's a bit of speculation, but that's what we hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sullivan has had a big role with him now. I think you've seen Sullivan sitting down with him a lot more. I think Sullivan is having a huge role in Kenny's development now. To what extent the play calling duties are being spread around amongst the offensive staff and amongst and with Tomlin can only be guessed at. I know Randy Fiechner claimed in the past that Tomlin did call offensive plays, whereas I think we've heard from others like Ben and others that Tomlin doesn't get involved a great deal in the offense. He's more involved in the defense. So yeah, but I think Sullivan has played a bigger part in Kenny's development since the bye.
I'll tell you this, I reckon, right, if it was to a fact where the Rooneys and Mike Tomlin said, actually, Canada, you're not working out, we're going to change, they wouldn't tell the media. There's no way, Jose, they would tell the media that he's a bad offensive coordinator and we're going with OC Sullivan's ideas, or maybe Matt Canada's calling the plays, but the whole scheme is around other different coaches, because there are more coaches, right? You there, Makenzie?
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. I'm trying to look at the chat, but no, I totally agree with what you were just saying. Sorry, I just totally butchered.
Yeah, there could be a chance. I don't think as any organization, you're not going to throw your team under the bus like that and say, well, Matt Canada's really, really bad, he sucks, and we're going to get someone else. Now, I think, from my point of view, if he is calling the plays, which I think he is, it does look a bit better. He's still doing the reverses, still things like that. But it does seem like the players are executing more, besides maybe this one player. And I want to bring up this one player. We all know who it is. Britsburgh, Owen, your thoughts, and try and be nice, please, on DJ.
Oh, God.
DJ.
Deontay Johnson. It's good news. He didn't practice today. Anyway. I'm with. Do you know what? I was listening to Dejan. I have a lot of time and a lot of respect for Dejan Kovacevic. I like his takes on things. I think Dejan is very realistic with what he says about the Steelers, and I think he's right in what he was saying today. He said that he can't see any way on this earth why you would want to throw the ball to Johnson more than Pickens, because Pickens is a better receiver. He also went on to say that, in his opinion, it's a bit like the Steelers are trying to prove that they have not made a mistake giving him that 2-year contract extension. Paying him $36 million over 2 years, paying him like a wide receiver one when he's performing like a junior varsity receiver. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of DJ. I'll be out there. I just think that for me, he drops too many easy passes. He's dropped 2 touchdown passes this year that I'm not being funny, Mark, you could have caught. He goes missing in big games. He does. If you go back to last season, where was he in the 2 Chiefs games? He went missing, completely missing in those games. The Bills game this year, he was nowhere to be seen. The Eagles game this year, nowhere to be seen. The Bengals game, I think I even joked on a video, can someone please call the Pittsburgh police and take out a missing persons report for him, because he disappeared completely in that game. When the going gets tough, DJ disappears and he vanishes. And I don't like some of the way he's conducted himself this year as well. Some of this prima donna behavior, throwing his arms in the air. George Pickens has had criticism for this. Throw me the bleeping ball, he said as he came off the pitch the other day. Yet Johnson went and cried to the offensive staff and hasn't had anywhere near the same criticism because he wasn't getting enough ball, in his opinion. Now we are forcing him to have the ball. I think his stats don't back it up. He hasn't caught a single touchdown pass this year. He's only caught 8 third down conversions this year in 12 games. This is your wide receiver one. This is your go-to guy.
Did you know that he has the most targets as well in the AFC North? I read that the other day. The most targets.
And compare that with the other top receivers in the AFC North. As much as this is going to pain me to say it, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, who I can't stand, Jamar Chase, Amari Cooper. Comparing with any of those 4, the guy's not even in the same league as those 4 at the moment. I would have rather paid Juju Smith-Schuster $36 million and kept him rather than Deontay Johnson.
Well, that's the thing. We kind of want to see Johnson be the number 1 receiver, but it looks like it's going to be Pickens in the future. I think that Pickens, has to kind of know his role just a little bit. I think he's been a bit too gun, hone, like a lot of ego there too. But the ego's come with that position as well, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't think that was a right thing to say. At the same time, I made a video about it, and I pointed out that Pickens can get a lot of heat for that, but then the Mike Tomlin gets no heat for what he said too. But even though I kind of thought the Mike Tomlin thing was kind of like funny, but then I was like, well, then I'm second guessing myself. If I think Mike Tomlin's one's funny, but the Pickens one I don't think's funny, then I'm biased one way. But the only one thing I think is that the guy's a young fella, like Pickens a young fella. What I can't stand, I don't know if it's like a youth thing, and I'm like, maybe I'm getting older and I'm shaking my fist at the clouds. Can he take his mask off while he's talking? Did you guys see that? That really bothers me. Like, you can't hear yourself when you're like this. What are you doing?
Who is that?
Pickens got the hood on. I'm like, come on, man. Stand up straight, shoulders back, and just we want to hear what you're saying. I know the media's picking on him and stuff, but you honestly couldn't hear what he was saying because the mask was over his mouth. And that frustrates me on a little bit of a level. Now, they want to say, Mark's a hater. He's a hater.
No, he'll learn.
This frustrates me. What are your thoughts on those two receivers? Deontay first, Makenzie, then we'll go Pickens next.
I mean, I don't hate Deontay Johnson. Yeah, I think he should be better, and he has a higher standard he's being held to, and he hasn't produced where he should have and should be if he's our wide receiver 1. Pickens still has a lot of growing to do and a lot of learning to do, despite his talent. I think him being open to learning is going to only set him up for the best. So I don't know. I don't know how much longer we should be keeping DJ around. I don't know where he fits. I mean, I think that he fits as probably behind George Pickens, honestly, at this point, because I think George Pickens has done more than DJ has. I mean, even though George Pickens hasn't done anything, I just feel like you don't really have a lot of notable plays by DJ as you would want.
Higher ceiling, right? I think Pickens as well. I think he's a bigger fella. He's probably more of a better receiver that George can be. That Deontay can be. I wasn't even told you. This is funny, man. I reckon he dead set fumbled it too. What do you think, guys? I reckon that was a fumble for sure.
Yeah,
like for sure. We got away with one there too, big time.
I mean, I would say even throw the ball to Freiermuth more. Freiermuth is a better receiver than I know he's a tight end, but he's a better receiver of the ball than Johnson. I mean, if you compare their stats from this season, Freiermuth 50 receptions, Johnson's had 61. Freiermuth is on 597 yards, Johnson 565. Freiermuth has 1 touchdown. Johnson has none. Johnson averages 9.3 yards per catch. Freiermuth averages 11.9 yards per catch. He's been outperformed by the tight end as well. You know, I'd rather see the ball going to Freiermuth, to Pickens. I'd even rather see Sims have a few more targets.
What about Connor Hayward too, man?
Connor Hayward showed something too. Exactly.
You didn't he? Hey, he's one of my favorites now. I love how he's worked himself in this team. I really do. From special teams to blocking to doing all the hard yards and getting limited snaps. Now he's kind of working his way in. And I guess if it's the Matt Cannon offense, he needs to target him more, right? You know, feature him more, feature Muth more. Sure, get DJ the ball if you can, but Connor Hayward looked fantastic in that TD. Fantastic. All right, guys. Do you guys want to let's do some predictions. What are your predictions, Owen, and the score for the game?
I think it's going to be a very, very tight game again. I think it's going to be a typical Ravens-Steelers slugfest, defense versus defense. I can't see it particularly, been a very high scoring game. So I'm going to go for 19-16 Steelers.
So I wasn't listening. I just blocked Rick again because I just can't be bothered today. I really can't be bothered with you, Rick, to be honest, mate. You only come here to troll. That's all you do, to come here to troll. And your team has never won a Super Bowl. I can't handle you today. You're blocked again. Sorry, what did you say? What did you say? 19 what?
19-16 Steelers.
All right. I might have to block him 19 times. All right, Makenzie. And I got the power to do so. Look at the power of my hands. I'm allowed to do that. All right, Makenzie. What about your score prediction?
I'm thinking, let me see. Oh God, maybe like 23-16 Steelers.
Okay, so another close game.
Yeah.
23. Who gets a TD then, you think? You think Kenny gets 2?
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see us get at least 2 touchdowns and then have some kicker points, to sprinkle on top.
We don't know as well. I don't think Boswell's coming back, right, Owen? Is that right?
He's
no.
According to the injury report that came out today, he returned to practice on Thursday, opening his 21-day window to be activated from injured reserve. Now, I suppose the one thing with a kicker is you haven't really got to work on your cardio fitness or anything like that, because all you do is you go and you boot the ball, and that's pretty much it. So as long as his leg's okay,
Hey, speaking of kickers, what about our mate Harvin? Had 2 kicks the other day, and that set up the win too.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that, Makenzie?
Play in his
Did you see
career so far. Literally, I was so excited and happy for the guy. Genuinely, just happy for him. Like, not even for the Steelers, for him and his soul and his pride. For real though, that kid has come a long way. Mm-hmm. He has worked his butt off to prove that he belongs as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and he proved that. Literally the most perfect way to end the game. And then Minka just had to seal it away.
Right. What a fantastic, I saw the moment of that swag where he was kind of like he was happy, right? Harvin was like, I did that. I made that game. Now the game's in our control, and it's pretty much it was done, right? For me, guys, and we'll do our final thoughts in a minute. For me, I actually see some points in this game. I think the Steelers can run the ball. Now it's going to be a tough test against the Ravens because they've got a really good defense up front too. A lot of big fellas there, but I think they're going to win. I think they're going to hold Tyler Huntley and their crew to less points too. If they can only score 10 against the Broncos, I reckon they're going to win. Let's push it far this week. Let's go 27 to. Let's do something weird. 27-11. Something really weird like that. Something really strange because there'll be a safety involved or something like that. Or maybe. No, 27-11 can be a TD and a field goal. I don't know. 27-11 is my call. But we'll go around the horn. Makenzie first. What are your final thoughts and what are you looking forward to in this game?
I'm looking forward to seeing our offense continue to progress. I think it's really easy to see off the get-go if we've fixed things from the week before. So I'm just looking forward to seeing our offense continue to do better.
Big time. What about yourself, Owen? What are you looking forward to this game?
Yeah, I agree with Makenzie about the offense. I think obviously see Kenny continue to take steps forward, but I think as well continue to see Najee come back to where we know he can be. Go back to that angry running back that he was on Sunday against the Falcons, and he won the angry run scepter apparently on Good Morning Football. Someone in the live chat said, and I love it, absolutely love that is. Kyle Brandt, I love Kyle Brandt because Kyle Brandt's got respect for the Steelers. Even though he is a Bills fan, he does have big respect for the Steelers. He does speak up for the Steelers on Good Morning Football. And I love how he does the angry runs. And Kyle Brandt giving the angry run scepter to Najee Harris. A big respect to him for that.
I got a question here. Look, my answer to this question from Brian Harrington. Do you think Kenny has small hands anything to do with ball placement? I say no. I don't think so. I don't think the small hands would be too much. What about yourself, Makenzie? Does that matter for throwing the football? I don't think so.
No, I don't think it does. I had this debate during the preseason with people about does size matter? Does hand size matter? And I don't think it does. I think that's just a myth and a theory. If you have big hands, you're probably throwing inaccurate at some point anyways. So why are we looking for more excuses? That's all. I think excuses.
To me, it's just a story they ran and it's been running for a long time now. I was actually surprised we don't talk about the fake knee slide. Like the one that he did on Pitt too. Like that to me is more. That should be something where Ravens fans, Bengals fans, Browns fans should be going, your quarterback is a cheater because he did that on purpose. He wasn't sliding. He was trying to get the advantage. What about yourself, Owen? Do you think the size, small hands matter? I don't think I have nothing. I think it's an absolute poor take.
Yeah, I can't see whether that's been the case. Ryan Leaf had 10.5 inch hands. He was pretty bad. Baker Mayfield, I'm just reading, he has 9.25 inch hands. He's pretty bad. So I don't think having big hands has anything. It doesn't really help you either. So I just think it's a really stupid take.
But we've had this take for the whole off season, and now the only way you get rid of it is when Kenny starts to win. He is winning, right? He's getting better. 3-1 after the bye. But I'll go through some scores, guys, and I'll get one last question. I almost forgot my last question with you guys too. So Todd says 20-13 Steelers, Pigeons over Ratbirds. I like that. I could see 16-10. I could see that for sure. That could be a game, a close game with the under there too. Brian Harrington says 27-24. We had Steeler Girl 808 says 27-21. And George, I would love to see this, dude. 36-17 would be fantastic, But I got one last question. And I'll ask you both this question, right? How many, since 2016, this is going to feed into my video tomorrow. Since 2016, Makenzie, how many games has the Ravens won against us? You counting them?
Wait, okay, so that's 5-6 years.
Yes.
10. I'm just going to say 10.
10? Okay. Britsburgh,
actually,
Owen.
No, sorry, 7. 7.
That's your answer. Britsburgh, Owen.
7. Final answer, 7.
All right. Owen, how many games have the Ravens won since 2016?
3 or 4.
You are correct with your second answer. They've only won 4. Now, my big thing is now, why, what? It's always a close game, right? And this will feed into my video tomorrow. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-4 against the Ravens since 2016. Like we've had their number. Since Lamar Jackson has joined, they've had their number.
Wow.
We've won 4 in a row. This is the game that now the Steelers are favorite. And yes, they need to go out there and win for sure. They can't let this game up. They still need to be in the mindset of an underdog, 100%, right? But since 2016, I think the Antonio Brown immaculate extension, right? That started near the win streak of the last, I think, 12 games or whatever it was. So they're 4-8. So the Ravens, it's not as close as we think it is. It's not as close as we think it is. But guys, thank you for coming on. Britsburgh, Owen, Makenzie, welcome to the Syndicate as well. We'll be having more video chats too, more podcasts in the future. Hopefully once a week, and then try and maybe feature like a Makenzie minute. I don't know. We're going to try and find some work for you and do some Pittsburgh Steelers content. I know you love your team. You're so passionate about your team, and it's good to see because you are a real fan, unlike those guys at Chat Sports who aren't real fans. We it's fun. It's fun shouting them out too. But thanks guys for coming on. And Britsburgh, Owen, Makenzie Miller, we had this, man. I think we had this game. Dead set. I think the Steelers can win this game, and we improve to 6-7. But all right, guys, we'll see you later. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. There we go. Makenzie is great. Thanks, guys. Here we go. See, everyone loves it, man. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go. Bye.